I'm at a party for the Krewe of Joan of Arc at the Beauregard-Keyes house here on Charter Street in the French Quarter. It's a lot of fun. The Krewe of Joan of Arc is great, and I have purchased an indulgence for 25 days. My sins are absolved, so this next month is going to be pretty wild. And we're about to go to the Joan of Arc statue and leave something. I think flowers are encouraged, but I don't have any flowers, so I guess I'll just improvise. The Krewe of Joan of Arc throws an annual parade through the French Quarter on Twelfth Night. It's the first parade of carnival season, and it's a great excuse to dress up like a medieval knight and shout at things and wave a sword around in public. And the good people of the Beauregard-Keyes house were kind enough to allow the Krewe to host a little party. The Krewe is a great little community. Everybody cares a lot about their city and just about medieval stuff in general, and they're just a really, really fun gang. Though this house is best known for being P.T. Beauregard's home, he actually only lived here for 2 years, and he rented, he didn't even buy. It was also the residence of the racist author Frances Parkinson Keyes, who actually set one of her books in the house depicting Beauregard as a character. Big money, salvia. This is the bathroom of the Beauregard-Keyes house. Did the great man, General P.T. Beauregard, use this toilet? Who's to say? Who's to say? But in any case, I am standing where he stood, and perhaps I will answer the call of nature, where the great man once did. Anyway, after the bathroom break, everybody gathered out on the street. We had a bunch of our parade bling. Most people were wearing white, the significance of which I am not entirely sure about. And then we all made our way just a couple of blocks down to Decatur Street to the Joan of Arc statue. This beautiful golden bronze statue was a gift to the city of New Orleans from then French President Charles de Gaulle. So we left some stuff and said a prayer and honored Joan on the occasion of her feast day. And actually next year is going to be a big one for the Krewe, because it'll be the centennial of Joan's canonization as a saint. So when all that was done, we headed back to the Beauregard-Keyes house for some more drinks. But as night was falling, I couldn't help looking across the street at the Old Ursuline Convent. So named because, well, it used to be a convent, and it is very old. The convent has a pretty disturbing history. So legend has it that there was another party here at the Beauregard-Keyes house back in 1996. 2 research interns working for the Beauregard Commission. And they were just hanging out, smoking cigarettes, drinking champagne on the balcony that I showed you earlier, talking about the history of the Old Ursuline Convent. And around 2 o'clock in the morning, they moved from the porch to the steps of St. Mary's Church Chapel, which is right over there. Now that's the last time or place that they were seen alive ever again. Their bodies were found in Alexandria, Louisiana, about a 4-mile drive away. And the method of their death was extremely peculiar. So there was only one wound on either of their bodies. A tiny little incision right above the femoral artery on the inner thigh, and from those wounds a shocking amount of blood had been drawn. Now let me be clear, this story has been greatly exaggerated. I've heard people say, oh, it was 80% of the blood sucked from their body. That is not true. It was only a couple of pints. But still, there are a couple things about these murders that really give me pause. The first was where they were found. They were found beneath a slate standing stone up near Alexandria. I've been there, I've seen it, not because I'm a weirdo, but because I hiked the Wild Azalea Trail, which crosses right through Alexandria. And I saw this standing stone. Now, archaeologists believe that these stones were left by the Poverty Point culture, which was an extremely ancient, prehistoric Native American culture here in Louisiana that's traded extensively up and down the Mississippi River Valley. And the theory is that these slate slabs were brought down on rafts from places like the Ozarks, and they were put up in the woods around Louisiana. The purpose is unclear. Some people say it was to mark paths and trails through the wilderness, others say it was for some religious purpose, but nobody knows for sure. But in any case, these girls were found beneath these standing stones. And whoever did this, and they never caught the guy, whoever did this needed to kidnap these girls in a very public part of town, take them up to Alexandria, once again a 4-hour drive, exsanguinate them, kill them, and drop them off in this, it's out in the country, sure, but it's a residential neighborhood, again without being seen. And all of this in a space of about 6 hours, because they were found by a jogger the following morning. So clearly this was a professional, this was someone who knew what they were doing,
somebody who would probably do it again. And the creepiest thing about these murders to me, apart from the fact that they never caught the guy, was that these 2 wounds, these little cuts on their bodies, were the only wounds that they found. No bites, no scratches, no what TV cops call signs of a struggle, right? No bruises. So the homicide detectives on the case were forced to come to the conclusion that whoever had taken these girls, they had gone with willingly. That was all made up. None of that happened. It's just a whole bunch of bullshit. None of that happened. Yeah, no. I made up like half of it, and the other half is just an old, tall tale here in the French Quarter. Yeah, it did not happen. Bye!